My mind won't shut the fuck up. It is always telling me how awful I am, how fat I am, how unworthy I am, and I've fucking had enough. Best part is, I don't actually have to listen to this voice inside my head anymore. But now comes the hard part. Cleaning up all of its mess and getting rid of every single fucked up word it has ever spoken to me. This is my therapy, my way of healing, and sharing all I have learned over the last few years. So, enjoy my fucked up thoughts. On the back of the last column and podcast that I wrote called Confessing to Yourself, I wanted to now follow up with something of equal importance to who you are and not listening to that fucked up voice inside your head. It is trusting in yourself, trusting that quieter part of yourself, trusting in yourself to feel the difference between those two parts of you. I never trusted myself. I never trusted there was more to me than a fat, useless, horrible girl who then became a woman. It was these thoughts that kept me in the darkness of my fucked up mind, living in denial and seeing myself with her dogmatic eyes. With all of the change going on inside of me, I came to realize that trust in what I was hearing and trust in what I was feeling was absolutely essential to the permanency of this change. My life could not evolve if I was constantly second guessing what was going on inside of me. There had to be an understanding at least of all of the nonsense on repeat so I could listen from the sidelines to hear which voice was on my side and which voice was thrilled to watch me fail. And as I was building this trust, many instances occurred when I thought I was hearing my loving voice, but it was actually my shitty voice in disguise. Many years have now since gone where I was tethered to my need for food. This relentless desire to stuff my face stupid was with me every second of the day. It dominated my life. It bullied me into eating when I knew I didn't want to. It nagged me incessantly to get up, go to the kitchen to find something, anything that would satisfy the dependence I had on food. And hovering in the background during each and every disgusting binge was another kind of thought, another kind of feeling. It was a much better feeling, a much nicer thought. They were quiet, but they were there. Looking back, I can now see that they were there. And it was my loving voice gently reminding me that I didn't have to be so controlled by those thoughts and feelings, that I was more than my shitty voice was saying to me. But believing this part of me was not possible. And it wasn't possible because my shitty voice was who I trusted in. She made the most sense. And she made sense because I knew I was not worthy of the good things in life. The life in front of me, well, it proved that. When I looked down, all I saw was a fat, disgusting body. When I very rarely looked in the mirror, I only saw someone incapable of feeling anything good. When I looked out at my family, I only saw people who couldn't love me the way I wanted them to. When I looked back in the past, I saw a pattern of abuse and punishment that was deservedly so. My shitty voice did that. Saskia, as I came to call her, got off on watching me suffer, drawing more and more suffering into my life to prove that was all I was worthy of. Until I knew better, there was no way I was going to trust anyone else but her, because, well, she is me. I believed her to be all of me. But then came a day when I did know better. I was listening to the thoughts inside my head with a reverent relief. I truly believed I was really taking more notice of my loving voice than my shitty voice. I tossed the thoughts around a little before I acted upon them, ensuring I was making the best decision for me. When it felt good, I would then take that action, trusting in myself. But after, maybe 6 months of this, I came to realize my shitty voice was actually tricking me. She toned herself down and put on a nicer voice. It felt nicer, so why not trust that? But the reason I noticed this was going on because she was once again tricking me into believing I needed to eat. I was hungry. Well, those are hungry in your hunger pains in your belly. You haven't eaten in a while, so maybe you should just go and grab something. Or you ate not that long ago, but you won't get a chance to eat for quite a while. So you better just have something now so that you don't get too hungry later. You deserve to have a treat. Go on, eat that chocolate. Lies, lies, and more fucking lies. She deceived me, and I believed her. I took action on nearly every one of her directives. Now I've put on the weight. I grew out of the clothes I loved wearing and had to buy new ones. Then I had to do it again because I grew out of those ones. You see, I was so trusting in the connection to myself that I never saw what was really happening. This connection had been getting stronger and stronger, and I was so pleased with myself for knowing what I was doing. I was trusting in myself for once, and it felt great. For a long time, I trusted in everyone but me. Yes, Saskia ruled my life, but I put my ultimate trust in others, that they knew better than I did about anything and everything. The world has an abundance of experts, plenty of people knowing what they are talking about. A multitude of information broadcast out into the lives of everyone living on this planet. But was it right for me? A considerable amount of my life was spent following the lead of others. Eat this, do that. Don't eat this, move like that. Listen to me, I know what's best for you. And it worked for me, so it will most definitely work for you. And I know better than you know. I know you are. I know you better than you know you. And all of this research proves this is how you are as a human being. A year or so ago, I was watching some show on the telly, and they were experimenting with people as to whether a glass of fizzy drink, soda, soft drink, whatever it is that you like to call it, would cause you to be hungrier than you normally would if you hadn't consumed the drink. I just found this to be a perfect example of how not all research relates to every single one of us, because for me the exact opposite is true. If I do have a can of soft drink, then I actually feel full and I don't want to eat for a good hour or so after. I'm just not hungry at all. But when the conclusion of studies like this are released, there is the assumption that all people belong to that conclusion, which just really isn't the case. It must be taken with an ounce of caution. Research is necessary. It is important, and there are many papers and studies that have changed our lives and revolutionized invaluable contributions to our societies. I'm not here to demean or devalue such work. I simply ask us to take careful consideration with the information presented to us on a daily basis. Will it work for you? Is it going to complement your life? Does your mind, body, and soul connect to this bit of information wholeheartedly? Especially the excessive amounts of information being shoved through about weight loss and what is the best way to lose weight and what will make me lose weight faster. Your choices are important. Don't just take the word of someone else as if they know what is best for you. Trust in yourself because your choices matter. Your own judgment about what you want and need are important, because ultimately you know what is right for you. But of course, only if you are listening to your loving voice. And any of my previous columns and podcasts will expand on this for you. So head back and listen to them if you haven't already. See, it's your loving voice that feels different inside of you. So I want you to think back to when you have noticed the difference. Think back to when there may have been two different sides to the story. There are a lot of examples I can share with you about this, but the most significant one for me, and I may have shared it previously, is when my loving voice gently and kindly told me to trust that the man who is now my husband of 13 years is worth the risk. I was lying in bed one morning and he came to see me as we were heading out later that morning. He was sitting on a chair on the other side of the room, and inside my head I was doing the usual back and forth of why I shouldn't believe that this guy was any different to any other guy that had entered and exited my life very quickly. I wanted it to end because that was the easy way. I wanted him to disappear so I could just wallow in my comfortable misery. But Livy wasn't having it. I don't remember her words exactly. There actually may not have been any at all. I think it may have been more of a knowing than anything else. There was just this feeling that rose up inside of me that helped me to trust that this man was different, that he was someone I could be with, that he genuinely wanted to be with me, that a life for us was waiting. And that trust has given me love, experiences, fun. Yes, there's been sadness and anger, but also compassion. I've had a change of heart. There's been failure and hope and fucked up moments and fucking amazing moments. It has given me life, direction that I never knew existed for me. I truly believe that we were always meant to come together. It was our life path. But I could have fucked it up that day. I could have believed my shitty voice when she tried to convince me that he was just another guy who would shatter my already broken heart. And I thought he saved me. In a way, he did. Because his constant love proved that I was worthy. I just then had to prove it to myself. Amongst other things, trust gave that back to me. It presented love for who I was and who I always longed to be. It held on strong so I could connect to myself even deeper. And the trust in my trust intensified. I just need to continue believing in myself and trusting I know the difference when I hear or feel something inside of me. What is true? What is not? No doubt throughout your life, many people have given themselves the right to tell you how to live. What is best for you? And as kids, well, this right goes to our parents. We put so much trust in what our parents teach us, how they interact with us, what they tell us, what they show us, and what they subtly say to us through their actions. They are full of their own ideas and beliefs. Their understanding of the world reflects out of them and into our own. If they can't see beyond their own limited viewpoint, then that view becomes our own. Whether your parents or parental caregiver were horrible or if they were amazing, where we end up is because of their influence, because of the trust we have in them as the leaders of our tiny little world. But what is really shitty about being a child with grown-ups who are dealing with their own stuff is that their questions are dismissed. Kids are told to shut up. Stop asking so many questions. What I tell you is the truth. Believe what we say because we are the adults. We have lived a longer life than you, so we know more about things than you do. So eventually the trust in what the child is thinking and feeling goes away. We put our trust in others because we couldn't possibly know more about ourselves and what you need than we have. Oh. Cut that bit out. We aren't taught to listen to our loving voice for many different reasons. What reasons are yours? What reasons have kept you from trusting in yourself? For me, it's just that I didn't know any better, but now I do. I have had to learn to really listen to what is going on inside of me. Notice the difference. Which voice is which? Which voice wants me to try and succeed, and which voice wants me to give up and fail? In the last few months, I have noticed such a difference inside of me. There isn't a huge push and pull anymore. The world inside of me is so much more peaceful, all because I have learned to tell the difference between my shitty voice and my loving voice. Trusting that there is a huge part of me that wants nothing but the best for me. That wants me to go and live the most fun and amazing life. Who is there to guide me to my next steps. Who actually wants me to feel good all the time. Who loves me no matter what. My loving voice and I are so much more connected now that I am receiving answers to questions that are no longer filled with doubt and anxiety. My depression has lifted. I can move through my life with the confidence I have longed to have since I was a teenage girl. I trust in who I am, even though I am still figuring out who I am. This is a lifelong exploration. And most importantly, I am where I need to be. I trust that all the sometimes chaos and inconsistency, the turmoil and difficulty won't be forever. I trust that they are a part of my life and that I have what it takes to deal with whatever is right before me. I will always stay true to myself and keep the peace within. My loving voice guides me. She helps me to know I don't have to believe in the bullshit anymore. I have taught myself to yell, shut the fuck up, whenever I need to. I do not place my trust in her words any longer, my shitty voice. That has changed because I have changed. And you can do it too. So here's your little exercise for this week. I want you to begin to notice where your trust lies. Are you trusting in other people's opinions and thoughts more than your own? Can you tell the difference between your shitty voice and your loving voice? How does each make you feel? As you go about your day, step back from the mental conversation and notice the words being used. Are they kind and loving, or are they shitty and mean? All right. So, I reckon you're not the only one with so many fucked up thoughts. So I thank you for listening. And in the meantime, remember to keep on shouting, shut the fuck up. All right, until next time.